looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean, gets a block. Snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles going for it all into the end zone, and it is caught. Hurst going deep, for it all, Devontae Smith.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let me make sure everything's set up, man. Make sure my mic is straight. You know what I mean? Got to make sure we good to go. And make sure we... Mic check, mic check. There it is. There it is. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of AJ's Birds with your boy, AJ. Where I come on here and I talk about the birds. And as y'all know, man, day one of training camp is here, man. The Philadelphia Eagles have reported. Everybody's there. Everybody's active. We got to talk about some injury news and things like that. We got to talk about Jalen Carter contract extension, some housekeeping things we want to get to. And then, of course, we got some training camp notes to get to as well, man. But first, again, man, welcome back to AJ's Birds, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be back here in front of y'all. It's been a long off season. It's been a long off season. I've been a very busy guy. Honestly, been trying to stay busy too because it's been hard as an Eagles fan, man. You know what I mean? On Twitter, on Instagram, all over. You know what I'm saying? Trying to defend, Jalen Hurts, trying to defend my birds, listening to AJ Brown talk, listening to the reporters talk, listening to them tell us that our quarterback, the 17th best quarterback in the league, all this other stuff that's been said. All these teams that are apparently better than us, but we still stacked. It's just been a lot of weird stuff going on, you know what I'm saying, with the Philadelphia Eagles and how people been talking about us. So I just been waiting on this time. I've been waiting on this day, right? So I could come back before y'all and just talk football. I don't want to talk about AJ Brown. I know a lot of Eagles fans right now, we monitoring the AJ Brown situation out there in New England. And I get it. I understand it. I'm with it. You know what I mean? We monitoring that situation out there because of everything that's been said from AJ Brown about AJ Brown. So, of course, we paying attention to all of that. But I'm not here to do that. We're here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles first and foremost. Before I get to the training camp notes, before I get to Jonathan Greenard, before I get to Jalen Carter's extension, we got some housekeeping things to get to right now. Like I said before, it's been a very busy offseason for your boy. And I want to make this announcement first to the people who don't know. If you've been following me on Instagram, right? If you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Facebook, if we friends, then y'all know that I am officially full-time in the industry, man. I'm officially a full-time media member on behalf of ESPN 1500 Score North. Shout out to them, man. This is a hell of an accomplishment. This is something I've been chasing for a very, very long time, 13 years to be exact. And I finally got the call. You know what I mean? I finally got the call, man. So for all of the Wolves fans that's been looking for me, I'm back. I will be posting Wolves content, you know what I mean, with Flagrant House pretty soon, coming up very soon. I'm sure I'll have a personal podcast as well through Score North as well. Four Wolves Takes may be back, or some type of iteration of Four Wolves Takes will most likely be back. So that should be coming real soon. But on this channel, on this page, right, you will be getting some Eagles news and you will be getting Minnesota Timberwolves content. Now, for the purposes of this show, I just want to let it be known. I think I said this before, but I know we probably got some new people watching, right? So my goal this football season, I want to get y'all at least 2 videos per week. 2 videos per week, especially when the season starts. I want to preview games, right? Or actually, I want to preview games, give you my, my takes on what it takes to win each football game, things of that nature, keys to victory, right? I want to recap games, right? Right. I want to give, injury news, things of that nature, my expectations and things like that going into the week. And then on Sundays, I'm gonna go live from time to time. I'm gonna go live from time to time on Sundays because I want to watch the games with y'all, man. I want to watch the games with y'all. There was a side of me that didn't want to do that for a very long time because I'm a very emotional guy when I'm watching these games. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I be standing up, I be sitting down, I be yelling. Sometimes I'm cussing. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Depends on how the game going. You know what I mean? That's just me. But I just figure, it'll be fun to just watch it with the fans. You know what I mean? Get the fans' point of view while I'm giving my point of view and just do it that way. Now, it's going to depend on the schedule. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm full-time in the industry now, so I'll be doing some Wolves content as well, working with those guys over at Score North. So everything's got to fall within the schedule, but that's the plan. At least 2 videos, previewing games, recapping games, keys to victory, things of that nature, injury reports, all of that good stuff, giving my takes on things, right? Playoffs, I'll probably kick it up another notch, and then we go on live on some of these Sundays. So I want to get that out the way, man. Let y'all know your boy is back. Your boy is back, and boy, oh boy, am I excited. Boy, oh boy, am I excited. But enough of the housekeeping stuff, man. Enough of the housekeeping stuff. Let's get straight to Jalen Carter. Let's get straight to Jalen Carter, man. I was seeing some Eagles fans that wasn't too happy about this, and I'm a little confused about it, to be honest with you. I'm a little confused at the fact that some Eagles fans was not happy at the fact that Jalen Carter just signed a 4-year, $152 million contract extension worth up to $160 million with $106 million guaranteed. It is the highest defensive tackle contract in NFL history. And like I said, I'm just a little confused as to why some Eagles fans are upset about this. Now, we know that some people may feel like Jalen Carter has character issues. We know he, just this past season, week 1, he spat on Dak Prescott, which none of us approve of, right? We know that, we've seen some of the sideline stuff, right? Clint Hurtt had to hold him back at one point when he was talking trash. We seen him going back and forth with Jared Verse before the divisional round playoff game a couple years ago. Like we know what there is, and we know that there were some questions coming out of college about Jalen Carter as well. But this is a generational talent, and I think that is missing in these conversations. Jalen Carter is a generational talent at the defensive tackle position. Jalen Carter helps everyone on the defensive line. Not only on the defensive line, he helps everybody in that secondary as well. Jalen Carter stuffing the run, Jalen Carter getting to the passer. This is an all-pro caliber player who I don't even believe has scratched his surface, scratched his ceiling yet, for real. He's still young, 25 years of age. He got a lot of room to grow as a football player. You getting them young. In a couple years, y'all know how the NFL is. In a couple years, this is going to be a deal. I know it's the richest in history right now, but it was the same thing with Jay Hurts when he signed his contract. And then right after that, everybody else started getting their contracts. And all of a sudden, Jay Hurts' contract looking like a deal. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, Howie Roseman did what Howie Roseman does. Get ahead of this, get him a contract now, make sure he's happy coming into camp, make sure he's locked in, ready to go, because we need him to be his best self this season. Last year, we know he dealt with, the shoulder injuries. He wasn't 100%. He didn't have the greatest season. We understand all of that. But I applaud the fact that he played through that. He was available. He made plays time and time again throughout the regular season. Him and Jordan Davis saved us against the Rams. Shout out to Jordan Davis, who signed this contract a while ago, too. I think it was just, not to mention, too, Jalen Carter is a big part of the reason why we won the Super Bowl 2024. If he doesn't sack Matt Stafford, we don't win that game. That's just a fact. The way they was driving down the field, getting ready to get the ball in the end zone, we were going to lose that game if not for Jalen Carter. And so, in my opinion, I heard Howie Roseman say this earlier, you're paying for what you believe you'll get in the future. But I think it's twofold. I think you're paying for what you already got, because you already got a ton of production out of him already, and you're paying for what you're going to get from him in the future. I think we owe Jalen Carter this contract. And I know, right, this could mean some guys might not get re-signed, right? Jahad Campbell might not get re-signed. Nolan Smith might not get re-signed. But you have a solid structure here on defense. There's 4 guys that had to get contracts. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and next season you're looking at Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Those 4 guys are the staples of your defense, and we already paid Zach Bond, who's really the glue guy in the center of that defense at that linebacker position. So the staple of our defense has to get paid. Everybody else just gonna have to fill in. And that's just how it is. That's how the best defenses are built anyway. You ain't got an all-pro player at every single position on the field. And everybody can't get paid. But Jalen Carter is a guy that absolutely, positively had to get paid, in my opinion. Especially seeing as though you turned down some big-time trade offers, right? You turned down a potential trade maybe for Myles Garrett, right? Like, it didn't work out, you know, when you thought about trading them for a Micah Parsons. Like, so you had to get this deal done. And we all knew when the Eagles didn't pull the trigger on the Myles Garrett, which, I mean, hey, would I have done it? I don't know, because that's Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. But we all know when you don't pull the trigger on the Myles Garrett, and you're not able to land a Micah Parsons. I mean, you got to get this done. Preferably right now. Honestly, preferably sooner, but we understand contract negotiations and things of that nature. Things happen the way they happen. Jalen Carter obviously wanted to see what the market was looking like. Obviously, how he wanted to see what the market was looking like, you know, but I'm glad that they came to an agreement on a deal. And before I move on to injury news, Jalen Carter is going to outperform this contract. It sounds crazy, but Jalen Carter is going to outperform this contract. And in order for our defense to be what we know our defense can be, we need Jalen Carter. Point blank, period. As great as everyone else is on the field, from the Quinons to the Cooper DeJeans, to Rick Willens, who I think is going to have a great season, to Zach Bonds, right? To Jordan Day. As great as all those players are, you need Jalen Carter in the middle of that defense, on that defensive line, helping to stuff the run, right? Helping to get pressure on the quarterback and cave that pocket in from the inside out. You need it. Not to mention he helping your edge rushers too, your Jalen Hunts, you know, your Jonathan Greenards, who I'll get to in a second, your Nolan Smiths, guys coming off the edge. And so this is a contract that needed to get done, and I'm happy that we was able to get it done. Shout out to Jalen Carter. Jalen Hurts cracked a joke in his press conference today saying he slapped a $5 bill on his chest. Let me put another 5 on that. And that's another thing too. The team is happy about it, man. Saquon talked about it. Hurts talked about it. The team is happy about it. They know his impact. They know his impact on this football team. So the next ones I'm looking for, I brought this up earlier in the offseason. I'm bringing it up again. Devontae Smith, bro, like, we got to get a Devontae Smith extension. If we wait till the end of the season, it might get a little spooky. I don't think he's going to take a team-friendly deal again. I could be wrong. Devontae Smith, he don't seem like the type of guy to do a whole lot, and he loves Philadelphia from everything I see, right? But at the end of the day, the type of season I envision Devontae Smith having, you might want to get in front of that contract. You might want to pay Smitty as soon as possible. And I know we waiting on Jalen Hurts as well. They are. I already know what I'm getting out of my quarterback, but I know they're waiting to see what they get out of Jalen Hurts as well in this new system. So that's going to speak for itself. I believe he's going to get a contract extension this offseason too. But you have your foundation. You have your foundation, and you love to see it. And on the injury front, it can't all be good news, unfortunately. Jonathan Greenard went down with an apparent injury recently while lifting, pectoral muscle. Now they say it's not serious, but he is starting the season on the PUP list. I saw a report that says this leaves the Philadelphia Eagles room to pick up another player, right? Just in case this lingers into the regular season. And this news kind of stings, but it brings me back to Jalen Carter. Thank God we re-signed Jalen Carter, because again, Jalen Carter makes it easier on everyone else. He makes it easier on everyone else. So yeah, you might lose Greenard for a little bit, but at least you have Jalen Carter happy, right? Playing football, healthy, that's going to make it easier on whoever else is going to have to fill that void. And it's probably going to be Nolan Smith, who I still have high hopes for. But at the end of the day, Jalen Carter is going to make his job easier. We saw during the playoffs in 2024 how they was able to play off of each other, right? Nolan Smith, I believe, made a lot of his plays because of the pressure that Jalen Carter was getting, right? And so Jonathan Greenard, like I said, they say they don't believe it's serious. The Eagles are the type of team that you all know they like to play it safe. They like to play it safe. Hey, you heard something, the season ain't even started yet. We don't like to play our starters in the preseason. So it's one of those things where it's like, all right, we're going to sit bro down. We're going to let him rest, right? We're going to make sure he's 100% for the start of the season because we need him to be 100%. He's a guy that I also think is going to be a big-time impact player. I was a little shocked because he is 29. He does have injury history. He didn't have the greatest season last year, so I was a little shocked that Howie Roseman made the trade and gave him the contract that he gave him. But at the end of the day, I still think he's going to be a great impact player for us. We're going to need him to be 100%. So I'm not mad at him. Just take your time. Even if, and I don't envision this, right? Because this is day one of training camp. And if they saying it's not that serious, I'm going to take them at their word, right? But even if you got to miss, the first couple games of the season, as long as bro come back completely healthy, that's all we ask for. That's all we need. We need him to be 100% himself, 100% healthy, and ready to ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, on that defensive line. So we wishing him a speedy recovery, obviously. And we just gonna have to, obviously take it day by day, monitor who else on the defensive line, is making an impression. And this is an opportunity for guys on that defensive line now. This is an opportunity now, right? With him out of the picture for a little bit, who steps up and starts to make those plays in camp, right? That gets Vic Fangio to take a second look. Get Howie Roseman to take a second look. Hey, maybe we should pay this guy. Maybe we should. You know what I mean? This is an opportunity for some of them young guys to step up, make plays, and potentially get paid. So, like I said, we'll be monitoring that and seeing how that goes. But training camp notes, man. Training camp notes. First and foremost, I just want to say this. I started the show off talking about how they've been talking about my dog all offseason. It's been like I said, man, y'all Eagles fans, y'all watching, y'all know how frustrating it's been. It's been frustrating, yo. It's been frustrating hearing how they talk about Jay Hurts in the media, right? It's been very, very frustrating. The rivals been talking like they Super Bowl champs in the last couple years. You know what I mean? A lot of people been chirping, man. But the talk of training camp, and it's only day one. But the talk of training camp so far been none other than QB1, Jay Hurts. That's the talk right now. They saying Jay Hurts right now is looking very good. I'm reading a report right now. They say the Philadelphia Eagles kicked off the 2026 training camp Wednesday at the Jefferson Health Training Camp Complex, where quarterback Jalen Hurts stole the show with fluid movement and warm-ups and sharp passes, including back-to-back completions to Davion Wicks, who I think is going to be a big-time player for us this season, and Devontae Smith, plus a tight window throw and deep crosser. Reporters noted that he seemed quicker than last season during individual work and team periods under new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. Listen, bro. Not only have we heard the talk, but he heard the talk too. I just want to point that out, bro. The thing I love about Jay Hurts is Jay Hurts don't say a lot. He don't say a lot. Y'all talk that talk, and he hear it. He hear everything that's being said, but he ain't gonna respond. That's not what leaders do. That's not what quarterbacks do. That's not what Super Bowl champions do. That's not what Super Bowl MVPs do. They let their play do the talking for them. They let their work do the talking for them. So we know this offseason, guys talking about how Jay Hurts can't throw the ball to the middle of the field. Like, how you a quarterback in the NFL and how you a Super Bowl champion, but you can't target the middle of the field? Come on, bro. Some of the narratives just be so goofy. It just be so goofy. Every team in the league know Jay Hurts can't target the middle of the field, but somehow they can't stop him. The Chiefs knew Jay Hurts can't target the middle of the field, but they couldn't stop him. Back-to-back Super Bowls, they couldn't stop him. The man went from over 525 passing yards, set rushing records on y'all, multiple passing touchdowns, And he just had this weakness in his game where he couldn't do play action. He couldn't, play from under center. He couldn't talk in the middle of the field, but he chewing y'all. Come on, bro. Let's all pro talent can't target the middle. Come on, bro. I mean, it some of this stuff just don't make sense. But like I said, he heard everything that's being said. And we know Jay Hurts in the offseason has been working on it. Y'all don't think I can do this? Okay, I'm gonna show y'all what I can do. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm about, right? So we know Jalen Hurts worked on that this offseason, and I'm expecting him to have a very good training camp. Now, I'm not the type of person that's gonna read too deep before I get into the stuff I have on training camp right now. I'm not the type of person that's gonna get too deep in the training camp because I've seen it go both ways. I've seen, them say Jalen Hurts ain't throwing a pick all training camp. And then I believe that was 2023 where he threw like 15 on the season, had a bunch of fumbles, 20. I think he had 20 total turnovers that year. So like, all right, like y'all said he didn't turn the ball over, but it looked like bro during the regular, he saved it for the regular season. That's what it felt like. And then we seen reports 2022 where he was throwing interceptions, he was making mistakes in training camp, and we saw the kind of season he had then. So I don't read too deep in the training camp like that. I'm all about what are we going to see if the starters play in the preseason. What are we going to see, in the limited action that they get in the preseason? Then obviously what we going to see in the regular season, right? What we going to see in the regular season. But to the training camp note, shout out to John Clark. I got quite a few of these from him, right? They say Devontae Smith beat Quinyon Mitchell with a nice route over the middle. Jalen Hurts, again, they said Jalen Hurts throwing a bunch of passes over the middle of the field today, something that they said he could not do. We got another report that said Jalen Hurts was super accurate, on back-to-back consecutive plays. He had a short drop back under center. Again, something that they said he can't do. Right through a field down pass, downfield, the left seam to Davion Wicks and tight coverage from Reek Willen, who again I think Reek Willen is gonna be big time. Then from under shotgun, Hurts hit Devontae Smith in stride on a deep crosser, right? So again, that connection with Devontae Smith is gonna be pivotal. That connection with Devontae Smith is gonna be pivotal. They said that Jalen Hurts went 13 to 17 from the field today. Only 4 incompletions, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But a pattern that you see from all the reporters that was at training camp today, a lot of plays under center, a lot of throws over the middle of the field. And so again, we gonna hear, I think, and again, this is only day one. I think we gonna hear this a lot. I think we gonna hear Jalen Hurts under center, play action to Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts under center, play action to Davion Wicks. Jalen Hurts under. I think we're gonna see that a lot. Obviously, you're gonna mix in some shotgun because we know that's what he's the most comfortable with. But at the end of the day, I think we're gonna see a lot of that from Jalen Hurts in this in this offseason. Quinyon Mitchell made a big time play, first play of training camp. Deflection, I believe that pass was intended for Devontae Smith as well. And let me get to the article I was reading as well, because there's more in there as well. What we got here? What we got? So they saying Darius Cooper, right? So again, that wide receiver room is stacked right now, right? Obviously, you got Devontae Smith, you got Davion Wicks, right? You got the rookie that we just drafted, Mekhi Lemon, who I think is going to be big time. Jay Hurts talked about Mekhi Lemon, right, in his presser today. So that's going to be big time. Mekhi Lemon, look for him to be, in my personal opinion, I know it's a receiver battle right now, but I think Mekhi Lemon going to be our number 2 receiver. I'm expecting him to make big time plays out of the slot. And then you can't forget about Hollywood Brown, who's going to be just our speedster. I can foresee him, deep down the middle of the field, every now and then deep down the sideline, catching screens, taking it to the house. Like, I see that a lot from Hollywood Brown this year. Elijah Moore, I'm very curious to see if he makes the roster. I think he will. I doubt he gets a ton of tick. I doubt we hear a ton from him coming out of camp. But a guy that is kind of like a fan favorite that we haven't seen a ton of. We've seen a lot of him in the preseason, but we haven't seen a ton of him getting regular season reps. Shout out to Elliott Shore Parks. He said Darius Cooper kind of making impact right now. Right. Jalen Hurts hits Darius Cooper with the long pass deep. Cooper makes a diving catch. Athleticism, speed, tenacity. What sometimes go get the ball. It was my issue with another receiver. I ain't gonna bring it up, but sometimes, man, just go get the ball. Go get it. Yeah, I mean, the pass might not be perfect all the time, but reach out, extend for the football. So it ain't gotta always be perfectly in the breadbasket. Sometimes go get that much. Sometimes go attack the football. Conversation for another day. Darius Cooper just made an awesome diving catch across the field in 707 drills. The second year wideout was a star in training camp last year. So they referencing last year as well. Like, he showed out last year. He's showing out this year. So shout out Darius Cooper. I'm interested in seeing if he gets some tick. You know, he trying to find his way into this line somehow, some way. And the more confidence you can get from your quarterback to throw you the football, the better off you are. The better off you'll be. Obviously, they talking about the quarterback battle for CB2. We got Cole Payton. Could he force his way into the mix? They saying right here in the article. Obviously, you got Andy Dalton, who's the veteran backup. He may get some tick. And then obviously you got Tanner McKee. So Brandon Lee is reporting that the Eagles are splitting quarterback 2 reps between Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton. So that's something that's going to be interesting to watch. You know, God willing, Jay Hurts stays healthy all season. But if he doesn't, in the rare case that he doesn't, he has to miss a few games like he had to do in 2022, like he had to do in 2024. I don't believe he missed any games in 2023. I don't recall him missing any games last year outside of him sitting out the last game of the season because we already had our seeding. Well, we had our playoff spot situated. Our seeding wasn't a situation. Conversation for another day. It's always nice to have a solid backup. Tanner McKee has shown flashes, and we know Andy Dalton, just what they call him, the Red Rocket. He has flashed, and he's shown some things, you know, as well. And then, like I said before, they saying in camp right now that Cole Payton got a live arm. Now, I'm interested in seeing what you get out of him too. I don't know if he's going to slide into that quarterback 2 role. I can't really foresee that because you got so much experience between Andy Dalton and Tanner McKee. But he's a guy, you know, like Howie Roseman said, he like to keep a quarterback factory. I wouldn't be shocked if you see some special packages for him at some point, you know, maybe a little wildcat. You just never know. You never know because he is a mobile, physical quarterback, right, who could throw the ball and run as well. So you just never know with that. Tank, running back, they say he making plays. Tank Bisbee has already made a couple of nice plays. Run right up the middle and then a catch and run from the flag to shake a defender for some yards after the catch. Yo, Tank Bisbee, and I know I disagreed with some Eagles fans on this last year too, but Tank Bisbee gotta get touches this year. He gotta get touches coming out of that backfield. He gotta get touches in the screen game this year. Like, I don't see why not. Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley. We know what he is. You know, he is a 2,000-yard rusher. He is your running back downs 1, 2, 3. Like we know what Saquon Barkley is. But the spell for Saquon Barkley, I believe you have one of the best backup running backs in the league. We saw flashes all year where Tank, just like it says in the report, caught passes, shook guys, and got yards after the catch. Right? I remember a play last year. I can't remember the team, but it was 3rd and 16. He went out there and ran up the sideline 16 yards. We was trying to punt away the possession. Tank said, no, I'm trying to get this first. Shook a guy and got to the first. So it's like, I think he's a guy that got to get touches. I know it's one football and you got to feed your receivers. I know Jalen Hurts is going to run a little bit. Saquon going to run a little bit. You got your tight ends as well. You know, Eli Stowers. You got, obviously, Dallas Goedert, right? We understand all of that. But when it comes to the running backs, I want to see some more screens, and I want to see us split those carries so that we can kind of preserve Saquon this year, especially if we have an offensive line issues, which we did last year in large part because of the health. from all intents and purposes, I've seen at the offensive line, everybody's saying they're good, everybody's saying they're healthy, which is a great sign. I think that was a big part of our problem last year. We weren't healthy, bro. We weren't healthy. Offensive line was struggling. They wasn't struggling in the pass block, but the run block, oh man. Saquon was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage constantly had to shake, spin, juke, and make moves out of the backfield. So if that's the case, you don't want Saquon Barkley taking that punishment again all year. Saquon Barkley ain't 22 years old. Saquon Barkley is also getting a little older as well. Now, he's not at the age where he's going to fall off a cliff, but you get my point. You want to preserve Saquon. We just signed him to a big-time extension. At the time, I believe, made him the highest paid running back in the NFL, right? Just last year. And so we want to preserve Saquon to make sure he has enough juice to get through the regular season and then damn sure to get to the postseason because we're going to need Saquon to be Saquon. So split those carries, give the young man an opportunity. Jalen Hunt, another guy we got our eyes on the defensive line coming off of the edge. They saying right now that, just basically he having fun. He's dancing between snaps. He's proven himself to be unblockable, coming untouched in 11-on-11 drills. Also beat Dallas Goedert on one snap and Jordan Mailata on another. Now, I'm not paying attention to beating Dallas Goedert because Dallas Goedert, I don't expect him to block Jalen Hunt. But Jordan Mailata, though, one of the best in the league at his position, that's big time. Again, it's only day one, but that's big time. He worked on his game a lot this offseason as well. We know that. We know that. And he was big time for us last year, getting sacks, forcing turnovers, getting interception. Bro was getting an interception. If I'm not mistaken, I got to go back and fact check this. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't bro lead us in picks last year? I got to fact check it. Because when I saw it a while ago, I didn't believe it. And I still don't know if I believe it. I got to go back and check it. But if I'm not mistaken, bro led us in picks with like 2-3 picks last year. Now, that's just shot at the DBs, though. As great as Greenard and as great as Cooper DeJean is, Rick Willen coming in, y'all got to get your hands on the ball a little bit more because it shouldn't be somebody on the defensive line getting more picks than y'all. Quinion makes his impact in the postseason with, I think he had 2 picks this past year against the 49ers and then a pick against the Packers as well the year before. But at the end of the day, yo, I say all that to say, Jalen Hunt, yo, like I said, he's proven to be unblockable. So that's big time. And without Jonathan Greenard, we gonna need him to be the other guy on the opposite end of the. I'm really looking forward to those two on the field at the same time. But if Greenard gotta miss a little time, he gotta carry that weight at the edge rusher position. And then, of course, like I had brought up before, the connection. People are still talking about the connection of Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Say they found Jalen Hurts found Devontae Smith on a dig route over the middle of the field with Quinion Mitchell in coverage. I read that earlier. And so that's pretty much all I have for the training camp notes for day one. I'm sure there is more. We got players doing interviews right now. I took a glance at some of them, didn't watch all of them. One thing that stood out to me, for starters, Jalen Carter is super grateful, obviously, for his contract extension. He's sitting up there, man. He looking mature, right? And we know he has room to grow. And this is probably what you're going to get right after you sign an extension. You're not going to get up in front of the presser and be immature. But he looks mature. He looks like he understands the magnitude of the contract. He understands, look at all the defensive tackles that came before you, not only for the Philadelphia Eagles, but in the NFL in general. And you're the highest paid in history. So we expecting you to be a generational talent. He expressed the fact that Howie Roseman, he appreciated the trust that he got, that he's getting from Howie Roseman and from the organization. Acknowledged the fact that there was question marks about him coming out of college. But now, after the seasons that he's had, the Eagles trust him. You know what I'm saying? And just gave him that huge contract. So there's that. Another thing I noticed, I was listening to, of course, Jalen Hurts before I went live. And one thing, I want to see if I can find the exact quote. If I can't find it real quick, I'm going to try to paraphrase it. But I'm going to see if I can find it to be exact because it was a quote that I liked. Him and Nick Sirianni have a message right now that they are trying to because every year they have a different message for the team that they want the team to follow. And I just found it. The message this year 100% alignment, 0 entitlement. And again, I love the message because we know what we dealt with last year. And I ain't about to go into detail about it all again, but we know what we dealt with last year. We know we dealt with guys who, felt the way when they wasn't getting the ball and things of that nature. In my opinion, prioritized getting the ball over winning games. You know what I mean? Acknowledge the fact that, yeah, the offense needed to improve and all that was cool, but it was more so about you getting the football, all that type of stuff. And now to have this message from the start of the season without that guy in the locker room anymore, right? Listen, we are all about 100% alignment and 0 entitlement. The goal is to win football games. However we win the football games, we're not trying to run the stats up. That's not the goal. We're not trying to get Jalen Hurts 4,000. It's like if you don't pass for 4,000 yards, you're a bad quarterback, they act like. But we don't care. We're not trying to get Jalen Hurts 4,000 yards. We don't care. We're not trying to get Saquon Barkley 2,000 yards. We don't care. We don't care if Smitty goes for 1,000 yards or Smitty goes for 2,000. We don't care. Mekhi Lemon, a young guy, right? He might come and get 400 yards or he might get 1,000+ yards. We don't care. At the end of the day, it's about the fluidity of the offense. It's about winning football games, right? And it's about making sure you're ready to win the NFC East, to win the NFC, and get back to the dance, the Super Bowl, which I have in my intro. That's what it's about. All of the stats, all of that other stuff, that stuff comes with winning. You get more eyes on you when you win at that level. All the numbers I'm sure Devontae gonna have a big time season. It's destined. It's destined. I'm sure Mekhi Lemon gonna be a big time impact player. I'm sure Saquon, the offensive line healthy, Saquon gonna eat. I'm sure Jalen Hurts can go out there and go for 4,000. What people don't understand is Jalen Hurts almost got 4,000 yards twice. 2022, the only reason why he didn't get 4,000 yards is because he got hurt before the playoffs started. Right? He got hurt and had to miss a few games and had to sit out. Right? And then we had to rush him back to get our seating. But he missed the game against the Saints. He missed the game against Dallas on Christmas Day. He missed those games. He ended the season with 3,700 yards. He could have easily got 4,000. Right? And then 2023, when he threw all those picks, he had 3,800 passing yards. He had 3,800 passing yards, bro. And he didn't finish the last game against the New York Giants where he could have easily eclipsed 4,000 yards. So it's like, that stuff ain't that big a deal. It's about winning. At the end of the day, this organization wants to win. This organization wants to stack championships. And if you're not aligned with that and you coming in entitled, you simply don't belong. And it's just that simple. And I love that message. I love the fact that your head coach and your quarterback are on the same team with what we are trying to accomplish. Both guys under a lot of fire this offseason. Both guys might be on the hot seat, but on the same page. Look, this is what we're trying to do this year. And as long as we do that, as long as we stay aligned, we're not bickering at each other in the locker room. We're not at odds. We playing on the same team, yo. We not at odds. You know what I mean? Nobody's entitled, and we just focus on winning. Everything will take care of itself. Everything will take care of itself. And so I love that message. And then he also had a comment too that I wanted to bring up as well before I end today's show. He also had a comment about playing under center that I want to say as well. I think they asked him that question at the very end of the presser. So they say, and shout out to Real Talk with MJ. He's the one who put this on Twitter because I'm going off of what he said right now. They said Jalen Hurts, when asked how he feels about operating under center, it's been an area of my game I've always had, which is what I said before. The man has the ability to do it. He just ain't done it much. And he basically says that as this continues, he said, it's been an area of my game I've always had. We just haven't done it a lot. So we'll just be putting it on tape a lot more this year. We saw in 2024 him play under center a few times, right? Like, we know what he can do. We know what he could do. And the beautiful thing about this is I know Sean Maine, he's a first-year offensive coordinator, right? I know he hasn't called plays, but he's a former quarterback. There's a lot of people, right, that rave about his football intelligence, his football IQ, right? A lot of people, right? He comes from that Shanahan McVay tree, so he's learned a lot from those guys about how to make an effective, fluent offense, plays that tie together. I'm sure there will be some bumps and bruises along the way. I'm sure he won't be perfect, but he's bringing in fresh, new ideas. And the part that I love most about it is I believe he will get the best out of Jalen Hurts. I believe he will get the absolute best. Jalen Hurts has done nothing but rave about the intelligence of a Sean Mannion. That's all he's done is rave about how smart Sean Mannion is and how good he is at his job, how he's able to quickly answer questions, right? And you know, Jalen Hurts he ain't asking no silly questions. He ain't asking you what's 2 plus 2. He ain't asking you like, hey, what's that coverage? He not asking you basic questions that a quarterback should know. He asking you in-depth questions about how he should attack each defense, how this offense should look, how we gonna mesh our game together and make it the most effective for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. And Sean Mannion is able to answer these questions right off the cuff and give Jalen Hurts answers that he feels comfortable with. Last year, we didn't see that a ton with Kevin Patullo. There was a lot of frustration on the sideline. It was a lot of indecisiveness. If you really watched, a lot of indecisiveness on the sideline. It was a lot of frustration over there. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that this season. I think we're going to see a collaborative effort from those two guys and even Nick Sirianni to get everything on the right foot and do whatever it takes to win football games. So I'm very excited for the season, man. Like I said, I'm be coming to y'all at least twice a week. You know, while training camp is going on, I'll be coming to y'all during preseason as well. Probably won't do any preseason live watches because it's the preseason. But I'll be coming to y'all, giving y'all training camp notes at least twice a week. Today is one. We're gonna figure out what the next day might be Friday. We're gonna see. We just gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Gotta map it out. But day one is in the books. And Eagles fans, I like what I'm seeing. And I like the fact that they're not talking about us a lot. Talking about Dallas. And all Pickens is happy. CD is happy. And Dak, he's top 5 player ever. That's how they talk. He's a top 5 player ever. That's how they be talking about Dak. Cool. Right? Oh, you got Caleb Downs and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, and they talk about the Commanders. Oh, Jaden Daniels, he's going to be back. Jaden Daniels, blah, 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 blah. Not a lot of talk about the Giants. I think the Giants going to low-key be solid this year. Not better than us, but I do think they're going to be solid this year. I low-key like Jackson Dart. Not going to lie. I said it coming out of college. I was hoping he wouldn't go to the Giants. But I like Jackson Dart, so I think they're going to be decent this year. But I'm saying all that to say, we're favored to win the division. But it ain't been a lot of talk about us. There's been a lot of talk about everybody else in the division. And then in the conference, obviously the Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, so they're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously the Rams look like a tank. I ain't going to lie. That's just what it is, especially if Aaron Donald come back and play on the same defensive line as Myles Garrett. Oh, my gosh. That's good. I ain't going to lie. That's spooky. I ain't going to lie. We know their biggest deficiency last year was number one, the Philadelphia Eagles, because they can't beat us. That's number one. But also number two, right? Jalen Hurts 5-0 versus Stafford. But also number two, right? Defense, right? So now you improving that defensive line. They got a bro name from the Chiefs, the cornerback Trent McDuffie. So they got him out there now. So you know they look good. So it's a lot of talk about them. A lot of talk about Seattle. You know, about Dallas. A lot of talk about Chicago. A lot of talk about the Pack. It's a lot of talk about everybody else. Eagles fans, we are right where we want to be. The team that's people respect, but ain't nobody talking about to that level just yet. That's when we are at our absolute best. That underdog mentality is what Philly lives off of. You know what I mean? It's what Philly lives from. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling good, man. But that's all I have for y'all all today, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this week's episode. I got some new equipment if y'all can't tell. Shout out to the people at Score, man. They got a new microphone. I got some editing tools. So the reels and stuff gonna be on point. Content gonna be pumping this year. I'm super excited for not only what I have going on with them, but what I got going on here with the personal content with AJ's Birds. So a lot of exciting things to get to. But for now, I'm signing off. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode at AJ's Birds.